Hello everybody, welcome to another dashboard tutorial. Today we're going to work on a sales dashboard and we're going to do most of our working in pivots and different charts. We have this sales data, which is the dummy data having the order dates, the dummy company names, their cities, regions, salespersons, and some other information, etc. And then we have this dashboard layout. So it's always a good practice to visualize your dashboard design first, and then it always helps and saves a lot of time as. So this is our data, and this is in the tabular format already. So I will simply click anywhere and go to insert pivot table, and we're going to create a sales monthly sales trend. So I'll rename it to sales trend monthwise. The first thing we need is the order date as a row, and then revenue and region as a filter. I'll correct the formatting. I click anywhere on the table. I'll go to pivot table analyze, and I'll create a pivot chart. We'll be creating a line chart for it. I'll remove the stuff that is not needed. We don't need this as well, and we can also remove the lines. I'll rename the heading to sales trend monthwise. We need data labels, so I'll click over here. So since these numbers are too high, so they are not looking too well, so we'll go ahead and shorten these numbers, and for that I will right click and go to number format, and from custom I'll write $, hash, comma, k in inverted commas. So this looks much better now. I'll copy it and paste it to one of these tables. So while resizing, I'm holding down Alt key so that it fits perfectly within the grid lines. So next I will create a copy of this sheet, and I'll rename it to deal count by revenue. And we don't need order dates. Instead we need revenue as a count as well, and we will group this by right clicking and click on groups from 0 to 4000, and we want this to be shown as count. And since we had earlier changed the formatting of this column, therefore we'll go ahead and revert it. Go to number format and simply click on general. And we'll also change the chart. I can right click and change chart type to columns chart. I'll update the headings. And I can increase the gap width. This way it looks much better. So I'll copy it and I'll paste it over here. And then I'll create another copy of it and I'll rename it to sales by region. And this time, instead of revenue, we need regions as rows. And we need sum of it. I'll update the heading as well. And I'll copy and paste it to our dashboard. Next, we will create slicers, and for that I will click on any of the pivot table and I'll go to pivot table analyze, insert slicer, and we need slicer for the months, quarters, and region. So I'll copy and paste them one by one. I will right click over here, go to slicer settings, and I do not need the headings, therefore I will simply uncheck this option. And I'll go to slicer setting and increase the number of columns to 12. Likewise, I'll copy and paste the region. And again, we don't need the headings, so I'll go to slicer setting and uncheck display header. And I'll increase the column numbers to 4. And finally, I'll copy the last one. Again, we don't need headers. And I'll increase the columns to 4. Next thing, we want to make sure that these slicers are connected with all of these charts. So I'll right click and go to report connections, and I'll make sure that all of the tables are checked. This way, the slicer will be able to control all of these charts. Okay, let's move on, and now we need to create one more pivot, and this time will be again copy and pasting the sheet, and I'll rename it to payment type. And this time, instead of region, I need the payment type option. And for this we'll change the visualization, therefore I'll right click and change the chart type to a donut chart. We can show legends to the bottom. Okay, I'll copy it, go to dashboard, and I'll paste it over here. Next is our sales by representative, so I'll copy this again and I'll rename it to sales by rep. So, and I forgot to change the header, so this will be payment type. Okay. So this time I need the representative's name instead of the payment type. And I'll change the title to a column chart. I can remove the axis, these grid lines. I don't need this one as well. I'll rename the header to sales by representative. Copy it and paste it over here. And our final chart will be top 5 customers. So I'll replace salesperson with the customer. And since I need the top 5, therefore I will click on this filter and go to value filters and select this option top 10 and change it to 5. I'll also change the visualization and also change the chart to a bar chart. We'll sort these values from larger to smallest. Change the header as well. So our charting is done. So we just need to make sure that the slicers are connected with all of these tables. So now you can see that when I click any of the slicer, it updates all of these tables, which adds interactivity to our dashboard. Finally, we want to display some numbers over there, so therefore we'll be doing some calculations. So I'll create another sheet and I'll rename it to working. So we need total revenue. So these are the things we would need. I'll go to raw data and I'll make sure that the complete data is selected. Then I'll go to formulas and select this option, create from selection, and just need to make sure that this option top row is selected. This will create name ranges for all of the columns that you can use in your formulas. So I'll come back to the working sheet. So first thing is total revenue. So we'll apply a formula, sum of revenue. The next thing is highest revenue of a region, and for that we first need to fetch data for all of the regions. I'll apply the formula sum f, and then I'll capture the maximum value from it. Next thing is highest revenue for representatives. So therefore we need to fetch representative names. So since there's a repetition in the raw data for the representative name, so we need the unique values. Therefore I'll be using a Unix formula. Unique salesperson. So it will display me the salesperson values. And we'll again use the maximum formula to capture the maximum value of these representatives. Next one is total number of transactions, and for that we'll be using count A order ID. So this displays the number of transactions. And finally we need the highest city revenue, and for that we again need city names as unique values. So we'll begin using the unique formula. And then we will apply the sum function. Okay, now our working is done. So the next thing is to display these values onto our dashboard. I'll first display the headings. Okay. Seems like we'll have to adjust their height. This is done. Next, we'll be displaying the values. And let's increase the size. We can change the color of the background. And we can also hide these outlines. This way it will look much better. Okay, our dashboard is almost ready. If you want to change the color scheme of your dashboard, you can just go to page layout and select any of the themes that may suit you, or alternatively you can go to colors and select any color of your choice. I'll use this one. I hope you like this video. If you want to see more of these videos, keep watching my channel. Thank you. Goodbye.